Tonight on NewsWatch, civil war in Syria. What comes next after the U.S. announced proof of chemical weapons?
Plus, thousands evacuated. A look at the deadly wildfires destroying homes in Colorado.
And I sit down with the stars of the new summer blockbuster, Man of Steel. All this and much more tonight on NewsWatch. Good evening, everyone. I'm Wendy Griffith.
And I'm Mark Martin. The United States is ready to arm the men fighting to bring down Syria's regime.
This as the White House reveals the Assad government used chemical weapons on its own people. George Thomas has tonight's top story.
Syria's civil war has raged for 2 years, and now it is dragging the United States into the conflict.
The longer this war goes, the more damage to our allies, the more likely the chemical weapons can be used, not just against Syrians, but against us and others.
So under pressure to do something, the White House is going to supply weapons to so-called rebels fighting to overthrow Syria's government of Bashar al-Assad.
Several million Syrians are now refugees in neighboring countries.
Gary Lane, CBN News' chief international reporter, is just back from the region.
Of course, the opposition would like to see anti-aircraft missiles, but that's out of the question at this point. The Obama administration says they'll send small arms. We're looking at guns, mortars, and anti-tank missiles.
The decision to arm the opposition comes after the U.S. confirmed Syria used the chemical nerve agent sarin to kill its own people.
The intelligence community estimates that 100 to 150 people have died from detected chemical weapons attacks in Syria to date.
An accusation the Syrians flatly reject. Still, President Obama has repeatedly said that the use of chemical weapons crosses a red line. Meanwhile, there is some consideration of imposing a no-fly zone near the Jordanian border that would allow the U.S. to train the opposition fighters, a move strongly supported by Senator John McCain.
If our military can't establish a no-fly zone, then by God, American taxpayer dollars have been terribly wasted.
The Syrian uprising began in April 2011, primarily led by ordinary citizens fed up with the regime. Most were moderate Muslims. But by mid-2012, significant numbers of jihadist fighters from around the Arab world and several European countries started joining the battle against Assad. The concern now is how to keep the American weapons from falling into the hands of Muslim extremists.
There is no guarantee that these weapons are going to stay out of the hands of people who would be considered adversaries of the West. It's one of the risks that the administration seems to be willing to take.
More than 90,000 people have died in the conflict, with 5,000 people dying every month, according to the United Nations. Some 3.5 million people have been forced from their homes. Tonight, there's growing concern the Syrian conflict could engulf the entire region as Sunni and Shia Muslims battle for power across the Middle East. George Thomas, CBN News.
As George said, Gary Lane is just back from the Syrian border, and he joins us now with more. Gary, how concerned should we be that chemical weapons are going to fall into the hands of terrorists?
Extremely concerned, because that's a possibility. They won't hesitate to use them against Hafez al-Assad and his people, but also use them after the war is over with against our people. So that is a grave concern, but also anti-aircraft missiles. If they get those in their hands, Al-Qaeda people in Syria, they could also use that against commercial airliners.
Now, many are calling for a no-fly zone. Yeah. How would that help the situation in Syria?
I think, Mark, that would level the playing field. It's hard to take down an aircraft with AK-47s and some small arms. You need anti-aircraft missiles, but the president is hesitant to do that because he doesn't want to see them get into the hands of Islamic extremists.
The Syrian rebels are expressing mixed reaction to the president's decision. Why is that?
Well, some of them are very elated. They're saying, hey, it's about time. We're just glad to get some help here. But there's another group that is saying, Mr. President, you're not giving us enough. This is a half-hearted measure. It's not going to help end this war. We need anti-aircraft missiles. We need heavy arms. And the president at this point is not willing to do that. I think maybe eventually you're going to see down the road a no-fly zone, which definitely would help. You don't have to send in the anti-aircraft missiles to the rebels.
Around 93,000 dead since the start of this war in 2011. Gary, is there any end in sight?
Well, I think President Bill Clinton said it very well earlier this week. He said, we need decisive leadership. When you hesitate, you don't have decisive leadership, more people die. And I think President Obama at this point is looking for legacy. So what does he do? How does he balance this? How does he become the hero, come out on top on this one? It's a very delicate balance. It's the lesser of two evils. How do you choose here? Do you choose the rebels who could attack the U.S., or do you choose a bad guy, which is Hafez al-Assad? Tough decision.
Let's talk about the Christians in the area.
Yeah.
How are they getting along?
Well, the Christians are many. I met with many of them along the border there. They're suffering as all the others are. There have been attacks by rebels against the churches. Hafez al-Assad has also attacked churches as he's tried to drive rebels out of the churches. And there have been Christians killed as well. So it's not easy on them as well. But many of them have strong faith in the Lord.
That's right. That's
yes,
right.
They do.
Gary Lane, our senior international correspondent.
We need to keep praying for them.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
And glad you're back safely.
Okay, thank you.
Wendy.
All right, thanks, guys. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul says the war on Christianity is being fought both here in the U.S. and other countries as well. The conservative Republican made that argument at the Faith and Freedom Coalition conference in Washington. Paul says Christians in Syria, Iraq, Libya, Egypt, and elsewhere are suffering persecution and on the run, and that America should stop helping the people who are chasing them.
There's a war on Christianity, not just from the liberal elites here at home, but worldwide. And your government, or more correctly, you, are having to pay for it. You're being taxed to send money to countries that are not only intolerant of Christians, but openly hostile. Christians are imprisoned and threatened with death for their beliefs.
Senator Paul pointed out that some regimes put Christians to death for blasphemy against Islam or kill Muslims who convert to Christianity, and says he's angry that his tax dollars are supporting them.
And this next story might anger you. The U.S. Ambassador at Large for International Freedom did not show up for a congressional hearing Thursday on religious freedom. Ambassador Susan Johnson Cook was invited to testify, but didn't even come. The State Department says she should not have been asked to appear alongside witnesses from outside the government. One religious freedom expert says Cook's absence shows that the White House puts a lower priority on religious rights than promoting gay marriage and contraceptives.
New revelations from the NSA whistleblower. Edward Snowden tells the South China Morning Post the U.S. launched illegal attacks on the computers of private citizens in Hong Kong and China. He claims the overseas monitoring goes back to at least 2009. This is just the latest report from the 29-year-old Snowden, who is now hiding out in Hong Kong. Two lawmakers there urged President Obama today to, quote, tread very carefully, saying the U.S. should not allow national security claims to justify abuse of state power.
The U.S. government monitors the private communications of its citizens, but apparently that surveillance does not include mosques. Investors Business Daily reports mosques have been off limits since 2011, when Islamist groups complained about FBI sting operations targeting mosques. Before they were excluded, dozens of successful sting operations thwarted plots being hatched by homegrown jihadists. Because of the ban on mosque surveillance, the FBI never checked out the radical Boston Mosque, where the Muslim bombers worshipped, until days after the marathon bombing.
Our terrorism analyst Eric Stakelbeck joins us now with more. Eric, if the FBI stings had not been successful, then it seems the Muslim groups would be justified in complaining about the monitoring. But these operations uncovered dozens of terror plots. How can the government justify bending to this pressure?
Well, it's interesting, Wendy. One of the key points here that I've picked up in the past few days in covering this story is that the NSA surveillance apparently does not extend to mosques. Apparently, Wendy, over the past 2 years, the FBI also has not been monitoring mosques. Now, look, I'm not saying that every mosque is a terror hotbed, but it's a documented fact that many Islamic terror plots have been hatched inside of mosques. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if, as intelligence officials are saying, this has been an extremely successful program, on one hand, Wendy, that does give them a talking point against the Muslim pressure. But on the other hand, I have to say, these programs apparently are not foolproof. Look, just 2 months ago here on U.S. soil in Boston, we had a horrific Islamic terror attack. 3 people killed, 264 more injured. So look, apparently this NSA surveillance program is not completely foolproof. It's a very, very complex issue, Wendy.
Yeah, good point. Well, do you think the Boston bombing will change the way the FBI monitors mosques? Will they start monitoring mosques?
You know, Wendy, that is a great question. That very mosque that the Zharniev brothers, the Boston bombers, attended in Boston. I was there just a few weeks ago, Wendy. I reported about it here on CBN News. Look, the mosque they attended was a radicalization hotbed. It was founded, Wendy, by a convicted terrorist. Yet just yesterday, the FBI Director Robert Mueller, here in Washington, D.C., Wendy, on Capitol Hill, under testimony, admitted that he had no idea about the radical links of the Boston bombers' mosque. That's the director of the FBI, Wendy. That is alarming. And if that's coming from the top, it doesn't give me a lot of confidence that the politically correct, quite frankly, ignorant culture there in the FBI hierarchy is going to change.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. If the government is continually motivated by political correctness, is there any hope of keeping citizens safe from terrorism?
You can be lucky. You can be politically correct and lucky and save people, Wendy. But at the end of the day, if you do not acknowledge the enemy, call it for what it is. Look, during World War II, we called them Nazis. During the Cold War, we called them communists. If you can't call them Islamists today, identify the enemy, no way you can win. Because I can assure you, we may not understand them and know them, but they know us. They know all of our weaknesses. Chief among those weaknesses, Wendy, political correctness.
All right, Eric, we appreciate your insights. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Wendy.
A new defense bill could create tougher punishments for military members convicted in sexual assault cases. Members of the House are working on a piece of legislation that would require a mandatory minimum 2-year sentence for those convicted in a military court. Lawmakers say they want to put an end to the epidemic of sexual assault among service members and create an environment where victims are not afraid to come forward.
Firefighters continue to battle the massive wildfires burning across Colorado. The Black Forest wildfire is now the state's most damaging ever. At least 360 homes have been destroyed. And now reports of the massive fire's first victims. The remains of 2 people were found in a charred garage.
The worst case scenario that we could imagine. They were packing their personal belongings, trying to get out.
So sad. The fire nearly doubled in size overnight, but firefighters have temporarily stopped it from making any more progress.
Coming up, world-class cars hit the streets of one of the world's most historic cities.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
In 2008, my husband Gary departed for heaven. I was still grieving. And then to find out I had cancer, I began praying, God, how do I do this? Where do I do this? Cancer Treatment Centers of America was the place. Dr. Neelam outlined a plan that would take care of my mind and my body, and she prayed with me.
For Bible-believing Christians, we're able to pray with them in a much deeper way as they begin to really rely upon their faith.
At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we believe in the power of faith and prayer as indispensable allies in the fight against complex and advanced stage cancer.
I'm back in Telluride on the mountain skiing. I feel strong and healthy.
Advanced medicine and technology.
And I am a survivor.
The warm embrace of the spirit and the power of prayer.
These are happy tears.
Please go to cancercenter.com/faith. Appointments available now. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits.
Millions of Iranians cast their votes today for a new president. There's no clear frontrunner in the fight to succeed controversial President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, but many in the West have criticized the race as being rigged in favor of Tehran's ruling system, a criticism that sparked a harsh rebuke against the U.S. from Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei. Election results are expected early Saturday morning. If no candidate wins the outright majority, a runoff will take place next week.
Well, over in Israel, Formula One racing cars took over the streets of Jerusalem this week. An estimated 100,000 people lined the roads to see some of the fastest cars on Earth drive through one of the oldest cities in the world. Chris Mitchell was there.
It wasn't a race, but more of an exhibition, where various cars, including Formula One cars, took laps around the nearly 2-mile course. They sped near the walls of the Old City, the King David Hotel, and other Jerusalem landmarks. It also included stunts on a BMW motorcycle. The event is part of Formula One's Peace Roadshow. It features world-class cars and drivers from teams like Ferrari, Mercedes, and Lotus. Many Israelis were thrilled with the show.
It's so wonderful. Even the noise is wonderful. I've been working on Formula One in France, and I was bringing my daughter to watch and hear the noise. It's exhilarating.
My kid's here, as you can see, is on my shoulders, and he loves it.
It's amazing. You have never seen Jerusalem like this. It's awesome. We should have more like this here in Israel.
Well, I think the atmosphere is just electric.
It's great, yeah. I'm with my 3 kids here and my wife and friends, and it's beautiful.
I think it's really cool, all the things that they do with the bikes, and I really enjoy myself here.
Mayor Nir Barkat explained to a packed press conference why he felt this event would make the city a better place.
There's no doubt in my mind, if you look as reporters, you will find, looking around, Jews, Muslims, and Christians, all focusing on the common denominator of how sports gets people together. And that is why the Jerusalem Formula One Peace Roadshow, I believe, will make Jerusalem a better place, make more people friends, and send a message that Jerusalem is open for all of us to enjoy.
The mayor hopes this will be an annual event, and some hope it's even more.
For me, it's something great that in Jerusalem, the capital of Israel, we have Formula One the first time, and I hope it is the start of races in the future that will be in the official Formula One races.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Looks like a lot of fun there. Well, up next, CBN News takes us inside the newest Superman movie.
From CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No.
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others. All for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry. Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is risen. Available now.
In 2008, my husband Gary departed for heaven. I was still grieving. And then to find out I had cancer, I began praying, God, how do I do this? Where do I do this? Cancer Treatment Centers of America was the place. Dr. Neelam outlined a plan that would take care of my mind and my body, and she prayed with me.
For Bible-believing Christians, we're able to pray with them in a much deeper way as they begin to really rely upon their faith.
At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we believe in the power of faith and prayer as indispensable allies in the fight against complex and advanced stage cancer.
I'm back in Telluride on the mountain skiing. I feel strong and healthy.
Advanced medicine and technology.
And I am a survivor.
The warm embrace of the Spirit and the power of prayer.
These are happy tears.
Please go to cancercenter.com/faith. Appointments available now. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits.
If you have Medicare and have a chronic breathing condition, you can take your medication using an inhaler. Or this, a portable nebulizer from Med4Home. Independent studies have shown a nebulizer may be more effective and easier to use than just an inhaler. Impressive. It's like getting hospital-quality treatment at home. So call Med4Home today to find out more. Med4Home is a specialty pharmacy that's here to help you however they can. They'll deal with your doctor, the paperwork, even ship for free. And their pharmacists and respiratory therapists are available 24/7. What's more, your nebulizer and medications may even be covered by your Part B benefits. For a better treatment at a much better price, call Med4Home now to learn how a portable nebulizer can help you start breathing better today. For more information, call 1-800-210-5821.
Welcome back. It's one of the most anticipated movies of the summer. Man of Steel opened in theaters across the country today.
Yeah, I had the chance to sit down with some of the stars of the film, including little-known British actor Henry Cavill, who plays the Man of Steel.
He's going to change the world.
You might say Henry Cavill was born to play Superman, although until now, many people were saying, Henry who? Are you ready for superstardom that Superman's going to bring you?
I don't know if anyone could be ready for that. I'm just going to have to be as ready as I can be and, ride the wave, enjoy it, and roll with the punches if they come.
I will find him!
In Man of Steel, there are plenty of punches as Superman tries to keep the evil Kryptonian General Zod from wiping out life on Earth.
For some, he was a guardian angel.
Reporter Lois Lane, played by Amy Adams, teams up with Superman to save the day. Isn't she sort of a hero in this movie too?
Yeah, now that you say that, yeah, she is. Well, she definitely, she's willing to put her own safety at risk.
It's been said since Superman's creation that Superman is a type of Christ figure. For example, his heavenly Kryptonian father sends his only son to Earth to save mankind. And Superman is 33 years old when he finally reveals his great powers to the world, the same age as Jesus when he went to the cross. Director Zack Snyder says the religious symbolism is a part of the Superman story that he wanted to embrace.
Allowing people to have a conversation about whatever relationship they have with Jesus or the Jesus story through the movie is, I think, undeniable in the material. And if you don't include it in the film, then you're really sort of denying the mythology that is Superman.
Hopes and dreams travel with you.
Russell Crowe plays Superman's Kryptonian father, while Kevin Costner plays Superman's earthly dad, who realizes early on his son has special powers.
Can I just keep pretending I'm your son?
You are my son.
You seem to be letting him make up his own mind, though, whether he was going to use those powers for good or for evil.
Right. Well, I think that's the great thing about life, is being able to make discoveries on your own. But what happens is sometimes a parent can frame it for you. And if you adore your parents, you want to end up on the side of what you feel is right.
What's the S stand for?
And we learned something very interesting about the famous S on Superman's chest.
It's not an S. On my world, it means hope.
What hope does Superman bring?
It's that hope against the odds, to beat all odds, no matter how steep or how grand. And it's just standing up, facing the troubles, and going, I will not surrender.
I will not surrender.
It's a great movie.
You can see my entire interview with Henry Cavill by going to our website at cbnnews.com. Superman, by the way, celebrates its 75th anniversary mark this year with Man of Steel's now in theaters.
Yeah, we were raised to be Superman fans in our household. My dad loves Superman, and I know we'll be seeing this movie.
And you will be amazed by all the religious symbolism, and it's really cool. It's art. It's done well. It's done very well.
So he's almost like a Christ-like figure.
Yes, but not Jesus. Okay, we got to toss to break, and we'll be right back.
All right.
The cheese omelets, scrumptious baked apple desserts, savory French onion soup, melt in your mouth chocolate souffle. Now you can make delicious gourmet food in minutes right in your microwave with StoneWave, the new microwave cooking miracle. Look, slice an apple, add cinnamon, sugar, and butter, and cook for 3 minutes in the microwave. It smells like homemade apple pie. Top with ice cream for a delectable dessert. Watch this. Core a sweet onion, add butter in a bouillon cube. Pop it in the microwave for 4 minutes, and you won't believe the heavenly aroma. Cut it up for tasty toppings or a French onion soup bursting with flavor. The secret is the specially designed chimney that allows steam to escape while the custom dome circulates heat evenly, infusing flavor into food. Best of all, the ceramic surface is non-stick. No need for butter, fats, or oil, so it's the best way ever to make eggs. Simply place it in the microwave for 1 minute for a perfect fluffy omelet. Then just cover for a few seconds and look, it melts like magic. This microwave fits 4 StoneWaves, so you can make custom omelets in the microwave for the whole family. Poached eggs are great, but what a pain to make. Just pop an egg into StoneWave, and in just 1 minute, you've got a smooth, velvety, perfect poached egg. It's all right here in the StoneWave recipe book. All recipes in 5 minutes or less. So quick and easy, anyone can cook like a pro. You can even make a chocolate souffle just like the restaurants in only 5 minutes for just 50 cents. And yes, right in your microwave. So decadently delicious, you'll be amazed. You get the amazing StoneWave, made of ceramic stoneware with a special hollow handle that stays cool enough to hold, plus all the recipes and incredible value for just $10. But call now and you can double your order. That's 2 for the price of 1. Call or click now and find out about free shipping.
Call 1-800-287-0762, but hurry and you can get a special offer second StoneWave with all of today's orders. Call 1-800-287-0762. That's 1-800-287-0762. Call now.
Well, speaking of Superman, a Seattle woman is turning sick kids into superheroes.
Yeah, armed with capes, she helps kids with serious illnesses, stuck in hospitals or at home, feel just a little bit better. Robin Rosenberger first started sewing capes after she read about a little girl named Brenna.
And the things that she'd overcome, she must have superpowers in order to do so. So, you know, tiny superheroes kind of just like popped in my mind. It was like opening a floodgate. We are now getting over 20 nominations a day. We get them from doctors, grandmas, aunts.
Oh, that's great. Rosenberger didn't even know how to sew just a few months ago, and now she has 600 sick children from Seattle to Scotland wearing her capes, and there's a waiting list of hundreds more. Look at those precious kids. Wow.
I love what she said, that they're little tiny superheroes and they need supernatural power to be healed, and that makes them feel so good, I'm sure.
Right.
I love that.
Right. Yes, God's supernatural power can heal them, that's for sure.
Amen. Well, that's going to do it for all of us here at NewsWatch.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend and a happy Father's Day.